I was just looking over, I seen a wee poster. It was doing some, it was talking about some stats. Some of the highest countries for illegal immigrants coming into the UK. Ranking up the top there, we've got Afghan, Sudanese, Eritrean. And they're ranking for up around 87% of all arrivals. That's 87% of all arrivals are fighting age men that are coming from cultures of abhorrent backgrounds compared to ours. 87% of all arrivals. You have to ask any mother, sister, daughter that lives near any of these IPOS centres, do they feel safe? Would you feel safe? Let me know in the comments, because these IPOS centres that are even being placed beside schools, and I keep saying unvetted and undocumented, I'm actually starting to think they know exactly who's coming here. And the politicians, particularly Republican and nationalist political parties, and the unionist parties just seem to have scapegoats because they don't really raise any issues until lately. But the stats are 87% of all arrivals are fighting age men. What is this government doing to us? I mean, is it any wonder people like that woman over in England get frustrated and lash out and say things that they do? Being a woman herself, she's bound to feel unsafe in her own culture. You know, people say things out of frustration, and sometimes they get taken out of context. And this is the environment we're living in, folks. You know, we're being scorned and monitored for what we say. You know, I believe in freedom of speech, but it does have boundaries and it does have lines, you know. Inciting violence, even before any of this came about, it was still a criminal offence. Now, they seem to have been bending some rules for some lately, and to me that's just getting the public to bite in, to become aggressive, become frustrated, and say things in a flippant manner that they don't really mean. Let's face it, if the people that were saying these things were actually doing them, they would be swept up off the streets and the key would be thrown away. So stay curious, folks. I mean, there's still plenty of things going on that you need to keep your eye on. Remember, this is for our children's futures. And if we're going to stand up against anyone, stand up against your politicians. That's what I'll leave this message with. It's the politicians who have enabled this, what's going on. And it's the politicians who need to be pressured to stop it. And I'll leave it at that.